Now, our next keynote speaker, he kind of introduced himself, Mr. Krishnan, but I would like to explain what his topic is going to be about, because I think it's something that's, if it's not affecting you right now, it's going to affect you in the future for sure. This is going to be tackling the senior years, making them blissful and the best. So our keynote speaker is also our bronze sponsor from Team Upcore. He's going to share his expertise in creating blissful and fulfilling senior years. This session will explore strategies for staying active, maintaining mental health, fostering meaningful connections, and embracing technology to enhance independence. So whether you are a healthcare provider, a caregiver, or someone planning your own senior years, this session is going to promise some practical tips and inspiring insights. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Alan Krishnan.
The agenda today typically is, I want to do an introduction on, I'm sure everyone here in some shape or other is very conscious of your health and you do everything to stay in good health. And unfortunately, every one of us here, me included, is guaranteed to have a health condition for which there is no cure, there is no treatment, and usually no awareness either. And what I'd like to cover here is, how do you prepare to prevent it? And I'm so glad the panelists said prevention beats cure. And I wasn't kidding when I said that's the crux of my program. Now, there are opportunities to be a part of the solution. And I hope to have a few questions and answers from you. And while doing it, we'll cover the final tips and takeaways. As I said, all of you have beautiful lives right now. That's why you're here. And this is something we hope we will continue to have for the rest of our life, and it'll always be there. And we all know hope is wonderful to have, but it's not a strategy. Hoping for something to happen, including buying the lottery ticket, gets us nowhere. And our own health is no different. And we need to do something about it. If I've made any of you nervous, please don't be. Because I'm not here a fear monger. I'm here to be a solution provider. I hope to be a beacon of light, giving you ideas and thoughts on how not to just make your lives better, but the lives of those around you, including some of the folks to whom you owe the most, your parents, your grandparents, and other elders in your family, how you can help them and make them enjoy the years and not suffer it like most of them are. Now, I'm not making idle thoughts. I have a mother who's 94 in January, generally independent, and she suffers from so many problems which are all not in her body, but in her head. And that's again, I take inspiration from our panelists who said that you should be able to cure yourself, stay healthy without medicines and drugs. First, a problem, forget you, forget old parents. Children today, I've seen 12-year-old girls in events I have attended, saying the stress they are having and how stressed out they are, almost in tears. And what I shared with her is what I'm sharing with you. I promise you, if you do the serenity prayer, which is what's on the screen, you will forget stress in every aspect of your life. But because I like to say it so often, even though you can read it, I will say it. It's, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Later in the day, think about it and see, most of your stress comes out of things that didn't happen. And many of those could never happen, but you stress about it. Like, for example, you come to this event, you didn't carry an umbrella with you, and I have been in Dubai before when it's rained cats and dogs. I've been in Egypt where people were slipping and falling. They only have rain 4 days in a year, and one of those was when I was there in Sharm el-Sheikh. Now you can be stressed, oh my God, I don't have an umbrella. What will happen if it rains? What will happen in rain? Nothing, you'll get wet. Don't worry about it. I'm making it simplistic, but most times That's all it is. Most problems we have are not going to change our lives significantly, but we simply panic. And I said, I'm in a room of very smart people. We all know that. And we prioritize everything. Couple of things that we set aside and think we will do it later in life when we have time. And these are key in our lives. And trust me, when you defer it until you have time in your life, like when you're retired, it just will not work, because both of these things are challenging and need to be started from the time you're young and extremely busy putting food on the table. And I want to share something. This was on a t-shirt that a young woman gave it to me. And it says, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. And please think about this. It's not just money. It's time. Time is the only resource that is limited. It's limited on the day you're born. It's destined when you're going to die. And therefore, if you give 5 minutes to help somebody, that's priceless. And only you can do it because you have the ability and you're there. And if you have a couple of bucks you can share with them, please do. And you'll be amazed. The good holy book says, it's more blessed to give than to receive. Trust me, there is no greater truth in this world. Now, one of the things we set aside is volunteering time, donating to a good cause, and more. If we do not start giving something to these causes today, you will find it's almost impossible to do it when you're much older and retired, because you're a professional, you're used to certain efficiencies, competences, which you'll almost never find in a non-profit environment. People have expectations, and doesn't matter what you give, they would want something more. So you should know how to deal with disappointments of people and how not to let that negativity get into your life, because negativity is the one thing that is guaranteed to destroy you. And how do you stay positive when all around you there's negative? Like during COVID, it was crazy. There was more medical fraud during that time than anywhere else. There was false positives simply because it's a money-making machine. Now, if you lose trust in your doctor, how in the world can you live? And that's what was going on. So it's important that we do our volunteer activities. When you're extremely busy, do it 1 day in a week, 1 day in a month, half an hour, it doesn't matter, but do it when time is valuable. The second critical thing in our lives is gratitude and prayer. A lot of people, I'm very busy, I can't do now. Once I'm 60, I'll say all the prayers. It doesn't work that way. You don't need to sit aside for 30 minutes and meditate and pray. No. While you're doing your normal activity, in your mind, thank the good Lord. All the people in your life who have given you something. All of us are high achievers. But let's not be stupid to think we did it all alone. There are hundreds of people in different phases who have impacted our lives, helped us in our lives. It could be a teacher, a mentor, a family member, limitless. Could be a total stranger. Let's think of them. Say thank you in your mind, and you'll find how your life will change. And this has relevance to where I'm headed. Okay, enough beating around the bush. Everyone in this conference and in our lives is guaranteed to suffer a health condition that has no cure. Science has not found a cure. There is no effective medication, and most of us are not even aware of what is waiting for us. What is this health condition? What is the treatment? What is the cure? Okay, is there a cure? I already told you there's no cure. So it might seem redundant why I'm asking this question, but I'm just being provocative. Because one of the joys, two of the joys in my life, the greatest joy is to spend someone else's money. The second one is to be provocative. So we have a good, healthy discussion, and a good friend of mine uses this all the time when we are driving. In the United States, when you drive, the roads are so boring, you'll fall asleep. In fact, a friend of mine once, don't know how we advanced about 200 yards. Both of us are kind of off. So this other friend of mine, when we drive, we argue, we fight. And that is being provocative and keeps us alert, and our driving is safe. The guaranteed health condition is old age. None of us wants to die young. All of us would like to live past our working phase and then do some fun things that we are not able to do in our working ages. But with old age comes loneliness. Being alone in the midst of many. I mentioned my mother. She is very, very fortunate. She is 94 years old in a month. Less than a month, actually. January 5th, she is almost exactly in a month. She is 94. She lives with my older brother and sister-in-law who are amazing children. They give her the best of food, attention. She has a full-time 24/7 attendant to take care of the needs which she has none, but my brother is paranoid about somebody should be there because if I go out for 1 hour and she falls, what will she do, kind of a thing. And she has others helping her, but she is so sad, so unhappy. You wonder, is she mentally something off? No, she's fine. Her sanity is good, her memory is reasonable, everything is fine. But the pangs of loneliness cannot go away. And it comes out of misplaced expectations. Now, do you want to see those suffering this guaranteed health condition? Just look around you to anybody there in your family who is old. Spend some time with them. Introspect what you are doing to help alleviate their condition at any time. What have you done to give them a bright spot in their lives? And most important, ponder for a moment. The older people in our lives are very fortunate and blessed. We are there. When we get to that condition, think for a moment, who will be there to alleviate your condition? Chances are nobody. Many of us have left our parents and run away. I ran away to Africa. I was there for a few years. And then I ran away to the United States. And my parents were alone. And at least we keep going. This is my 4th visit to India, and I'm coming back again in the end of this month. That's 5 visits in 1 year. I don't have expectations like that from my children, even though they live in the same country. And let's be honest, even if they come, I'm not sure what they can do to help me. Probably not much. So let's realize one thing. We have to find our solutions to make our lives better. So, what can we do from now to prevent this terrible health condition? And I will use the words of a very famous president of the United States. Yes, we can. Let's live with hope. Let's act on it, and we'll make things happen. We'll change the world. First, as I said, live beyond yourself. We are human beings. We are the highest form of all life. None of us has to be a Superman or a Superman, woman. Just being human is super. Now, I have to confess, this is not necessarily my original statement. Somebody very illustrious has stated it. Some of you might have heard it. Now, every form of life, plants included, work, find or make food, they consume it, they excrete, they sleep, and repeat this the next day until they die. Are we not capable of doing more than this? I like to think we are, and I know we are capable of doing more. So first is start giving today. Time and money. How much you give is not relevant. Just experience the joy and benefits and the blessings of giving. Spend a few minutes with somebody who can benefit from it. It can be a child, old person, neighbor, staff member, it doesn't matter. Do something. You're in this hotel, it's got great staff. When you see any of them, just thank them for the great work they're doing. So many of them give amazing smiles that brighten our lives. Just tell them their smile brightened your life and it made the workplace better. You'll be amazed how happy they are. Because most of them are assumed to be taken to be like part of the furniture. Why do you need to thank them? They're doing their job, they're getting paid. No. You're thanking them so you will feel better in making contribution in improving the life of another. I mentioned earlier the serenity prayer. Please recite it once a day in the morning when you wake up and once before you sleep. And then do something that helps someone else in an area they need help. Now, this is something you have to be very sensitive and cautious because a lot of people think they're helping you, but actually they are agonizing you, aggravating you, and you want to say, "Can I just shut up? I don't need this." And you have to control yourself not to say that because you're trying to be polite, which will cause its own stress and other factors in your life. So you don't be a cause for that. You be sure that you tell them, help them only what they need. Another thing I would strongly emphasize is think about and practice what Rotarians world over talk about. Rotary is one of the oldest community service clubs in the world. Every country in the world has it. And they live by the four-way test of everything we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? If the answer to any of these questions is no, please reconsider whether you have to do it. If the answer is a resounding yes, jump for it and do it. You will really change your world and the environment around you. Now, there's one very, very critical reality, which is mindful living is critical in our lives. It does not happen automatically. It has to be practiced. And again, I'm so glad our panelists before me spoke about meditation, yoga, and allied practices. That's the first step. It's promoted a lot these days, and that is really a true blessing for us. I hesitate to say, but I believe yoga is practiced more in the United States than in India. Because they recognize the value and they jump at it with a passion. In India, it's more people who are enlightened, spiritual-minded, educated who go into it. But there is things beyond yoga and meditation. There are forces like chakras. We have that from our abdomen to our head. We have aura and more. That require advanced, specialized help and a device to manage frequencies and energy in our life. Some of these are genetic and inherited from your parents or grandparents. So you don't pay the price for just your crimes and deficiencies. Your life, our life, is impacted by our ancestry, our parents, and some of these transform from one generation to the other. Negativity should be removed from your life. Positivity should overflow every moment of your life. Now, how do you do this? One of the ways you can is, and one of our panelists was from Germany, which is truly validating, is in Germany there's a company called Healy, and they've made a little device. I have it here. It's really little tiny. But what it can do is amazing. My colleagues who are there in my counter at the Team Up table can sit with you for 2 minutes, take a picture of your eye, scan it, put it through the system, and send you a detailed report on how your body is at present and what areas you need to focus on. And how you can do it is something you can learn more. And this is a true success story. It's in hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of homes and people. And it's in, I believe, 150 countries or something like that. And it's made in Germany. It's US FDA cleared, European CEII, CDSCO cleared, approved. So this is truly something that is good. You may reach out to me at any time if you want more information. My colleague Lena Roy is right here in the first, and she can give you my card. I will have my information, but if you don't want to write it down or don't have enough time, you can get the card, reach out to me, and I'll do everything I can to help you. Now you have options. Practice these principles wherever you live today, doing the things you do to put food on the table and enjoy everything you do. As you grow older, prepare to move into a multi-family, multi-generation community, which is my fancy word for an apartment complex, except that it's designed by me. And here what you'd have, in my vision, a third of it will be older people, a third of it will be young professionals, like many of us here, and a third of it will be community workers like school teachers, policemen, firemen, clerical staff of the government who cannot afford to live in the community they work in. We need them amidst us. So I want to provide them subsidized housing where they'll pay maybe half the market rent for the apartments, but they'll be able to live. And incidentally, many of them being young will have little children who will come back from school and provide the older people an opportunity to spend time with younger people, help them do homework, prepare for something, advise them on something else, teach them a skill. And the best medicine you can have is working with younger people. I have probably 3 times, 4 times as many friends, much younger than I am, than friends who are around my age. And I think that's the secret of my strength. So the one request I would make, and please forgive me, it's a little presumptuous, please forgive me, please do not move into a traditional senior living facility or community. For a simple reason, it's most wonderful. I know people 55, 65, oh my God, I don't have to pay my electricity bill, I don't have to sweep, I don't have to shovel the snow. These are things many of you may not experience because you live in communities where you have others who do it for you. But I live in a community where most of it I have to do myself. And what I see, they forget. What's fun at 65 is torture at 85. Every day you see somebody going out to a hospital care, they come back or don't come back, and every day you're reminded, when is it my number? Just thinking when it's your number will depress you and impact your health adversely. Now, if the right community does not exist where you live, please start one. It's very much economic, commercially viable project, and I'll help you to do that. When you decide to do something, get in touch with me, and I'll help make things happen, just the way you want to. Now, there are investment options. If you wish, you can participate in what we are building in the United States. It's incredibly commercially viable. I'll make a personal confession. My net worth today is completely of money on which I've not paid a penny in taxes. Whatever I earned, whatever I paid taxes, all blown in my life, educating 2 children through college and private universities. I have no money from my employment. All the money I have is only from investment on which I have not paid 1 penny in taxes, not 1 red cent. And when I die, my children will inherit it without 1 red cent. That's because of the American tax system. If I sell the property today, I'll pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in capital gains. But when I die, my children will inherit at market price and they won't pay a penny in taxes. So these are strategies which are good for people in the United States. Other countries, we have to find other options. So thank you very much. Please ask any questions you may have. The screen has my contact information. If you can see it, you can write it down. Or take a picture, now that cameras do everything. And if you want a hard copy, my colleague Lena is here, she'll get that from you. So we have a few minutes for questions. And once again, I want to express my gratitude to the panel because they really, really set the foundation for what I was talking about. And that is providential. And in my life, everything is providential. So thank you.